with us today. Our first caution period of the afternoon. After just about 20 laps of racing, Ken Schrader getting into the wall up in turns 3 and 4, bringing out the yellow, and everyone getting an opportunity to check their automobiles over and make sure they're set to go for the next green flag period that we're about to embark on. One of the stories we'll be bringing you this afternoon, we'll be watching all the pit work that's done here today, and at the end of the day, we'll award the Advanced Auto Parts Pits Done Quickly Award to the team exhibiting the most teamwork on our broadcast this afternoon on TBS Sports. At the end of the broadcast, the winner will receive a donation in that team's name to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of America from Advance and from TBS Sports. Dick Berggren standing by now in the garage area with one of the drivers who got into some early trouble, Todd Bodine.
And Todd Bodine has run Sportsman cars here, Busch cars, Winston Cup. He hasn't won in any of them, but thought today was one of his best opportunities ever. What happened?
Well, you know, this Mac Tools Ford was a little loose to start with, and we were just trying to bide our time and get it fixed for the end of the race. And I was just letting everybody go. You know, I'm not going to race hard at the first few laps. There's no sense in it, and letting everybody go. And I let Bobby Hillen go under me, and you know, he didn't realize I was still on the outside of him coming off a 2, and he just pinched me in the wall. You know, I got on the brakes and tried to get out of the hole, but it was just too late, and I ended up getting in the wall. It's a shame, you know. I wanted to run good for Ernie, and these guys they work hard, and it's just a real shame.
They wanted it for Ernie for sure. Randy Pemberton.
Well, there's been a couple of guys on pit road. Johnny Benson Jr. on pit road right now. They're working inside the car in his car. Gave him a dash of gas. Larry Pearson, to update you on him, a valve cover loose on that car. They've tightened it down. They've retaped the hood pins. He's back out 4 or 5 laps down. Bobby Dotter changed right side tires under that caution. Dennis Setzer, the rookie leader, he changed a little air pressure in the left rear and took a little tape off the front of the grill. He was running a little hot, I guess.
Okay, we're getting set on a restart here. As they'll come around, there will be 24 complete, and there's David Green.
Yeah. Just an update on our point leader here. David Green, he started 10th. He's currently running 7th. And Ricky Cravens, who started 31st, is up to 21st. So qualifying is not always indicative of how a car is going to run in the race.
And up to 17th from 45th has moved Grissom. Down for a start with Nemechek on those Hoosiers in front. Then Mark Martin, McLaughlin, Goodyear second and third, and Phil Parsons on Hoosiers in 4th as they take green.
Yeah, I'm sure this was a timely caution for everybody, Ken, because they'd run just enough laps to really get a judge on what the tires are going to be like, what the wear is, and I think the drivers will be much more comfortable now.
Benson had moved up about 12 spots before he had to come in and get that window net straightened away. Himself back out there. Good move by Parsons down on the inside. That battle for third. McLaughlin hangs on the outside, and the former national modified champion retains third spot. Parsons ducks back in, driving a very consistent race, just as he did in May, and then put the spurs to it for the last 20 laps to win that event.
Boy, our points leader right there, David Green, in the 44 car. I know he's holding his breath right now. Here you are leading the points, and they're 3 wide. They're all around you. He just wants to get himself out of that situation.
Derek Cope is right in the middle of this bundle.
There's no way to avoid this kind of racing. You know, you would probably like to not be 3 wide, 2 wide, or whatever, but you just can't avoid it.
Cope in 14th, closes on Sadler.
That blue car on the inside there going into turn 1, Ken, he was 3 wide through the trial. That's Grissom, and he is moving through the field. I tell you, that car is really fast.
Meanwhile, up in front, take a look at this lead battle. On board with Mark Martin. He's cutting down to the inside up there in that turn 3 over those bumps, and he's making a bid as they come down across the tri-oval. You're riding with Mark Martin up to about 185 mile an hour here.
This is Mark's style right here, Ken. He let Joe run out front for a while, and he sized him up, and Mark sees that his car's in good shape tire-wise and everything, and he's going to take the lead, and I wouldn't surprise me if he checked right on out.
Mark Martin, who has led in 13 of 14 Busch Grand National races in which he's competed this season. You know, once again in front.
The thing about Mark, I tell him all the time, Mark, you got a camera in the car. Could you make it look a little more difficult? He puts that left arm up on the window, and he just kind of rides along with like he's on a little Sunday ride here or something. I thought, could he work a little bit harder and make it look like it's harder than it is?
Probably what we can do to help is put a little light on that camera. For folks like you, when the light comes on, you know you can kind of squelch down in the seat, wipe your face off.
At least sweat a little bit.
Look at McLaughlin moving here in third spot. Meanwhile, Steve Reeves is back on pit road, car number 96. But the battle right now, they've closed up. McLaughlin making a great run in on Nemechek in the number 87.
McLaughlin has done an incredible job of getting comfortable in that race car this year. He wasn't that good this year early on, but he is now.
Take a look at Grissom, that blue car down on the inside, the Channel Master, number 31. That run continues by Grissom, and it's mind-boggling. Here he is up to 16th position, Darrell.
Well, that car is handling excellent, but he also has a lot of straightaway speed, and I don't know what he did to that car since qualifying, but he's got it fixed. Oh, we got a trouble up in turn 4.
That's Bender, Tim Bender, from the state of New York. Hard in the wall, and another car gets caught, and this one is not over. Trying to get them hoed, and that's when they get them collected.
Boy, that was a hard impact by several cars, Ken. Hard impact.
Tim Bender's car breaking loose.
That's the 75 car. That's the 15 car.
Doug Heveron's in it.
The 36. I'd give you names, but I'm just looking for numbers right now.
Oh, there's Bender where it all started, and he's coming out. Dirk Stevens for sure is in it. And I wouldn't be surprised to see David Bonnet's car. There's David Bonnet's 03, top of the frame.
Yeah, that's Bonnet's car. That's my old car, by the way.
David's car is your old car?
Yeah, I sold that to that group of people, and David was driving the car, and Jake Elder's the crew chief on it. So I know Jake's going to have a little work cut out for him here.
David Bonnet did a great job in that consolation race. 40-lap consi yesterday, folks. Let's take a look again.
The back end just comes around right there. That's what happens. So many guys in that 3 and 4 area, and when it does, and the cars are running so close together, there's just you just can't, everybody can't miss him. There's a lucky guy or two. There goes the 15 car. Dirk Stevens, but he comes right back up in the racetrack, right in front of the 75 car, and David Bonnet. Just hard for everybody to get through.
Another look at the end of this fracas. This happened at lap 29, folks.
See, that car's turned just, I mean, the whole racetrack, for all practical purposes, is blocked by one race car. Some people are able to get through. Right here, the 15 car backs back up in the racetrack. That wouldn't have been quite as bad an accident if he could have kept that car on the bottom of the racetrack, but it went right up in front of those oncoming cars.
Took David Bonnet's car hard in the front end. Heveron's car crashed as well. The car with the green numbers, and David Bonnet's okay. He's out of his car and walking about. Tim Bender rounded his automobile as he was riding on the outside of Harry Gant when it all began. 31 laps complete. Back in a moment. Competition at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Major wreck in turn 3 and 4. And again, this is what happened. White car on the outside of number 7 Gant. Tim Bender getting loose.
Yeah, he just gets the back end out. He was trying to run on the outside of Harry. Probably got a little air sucked off the car, but the track's pretty well blocked right here. Here comes oncoming traffic.
Biederwald getting by.
Here comes the 15 car. He probably got hit from the rear more than likely, but he backs right up in front of 2 oncoming cars, and they're trying to get by. And they come down the racetrack and collect a couple of other guys. And we got a major mess on our hands right there.
Benson ducked another.
He did a great job
there.
of going in between. I mentioned the spotters a couple of times, Ken. These are the guys that are in direct communication with the drivers of the cars. When they see a car like that 36 break loose, they start talking to their driver instantly, and they tell him, go high, go low, the track's blocked, the car's going here, the cars are going there. And they try to lead their driver through a mess like that, and they do an excellent job, and they avoid a lot of accidents. They help drivers avoid a lot of accidents, but in that case, there were just so many cars and going everywhere that it's hard to miss them all. But that's a great safety aspect that we have for us right now. We talk to our spotter more than we talk to our crew chief. He tells us where all the smoke is, what it is, where oil is, where wrecks are, what NASCAR is saying. They really are in direct communication constantly with the driver.
I should remind the folks at home the pits are closed at this time, and that's why nobody's come in here. The field stays. The wreck is right at the top of pit road as they bring in the car of David Bonnet after it was caught up in this very bad crash. He's fine. 34 laps are complete. On the board, wholesale change of positions. A lot of pit activity going on. Ken Squire here with Darrell Waltrip, and I can't believe that you needed an adrenaline. You had to get coffee, a little caffeine to keep you going here.
I knew this was going to be an exciting race. I knew it was going to be a race that is hard for someone like me to watch because I've been out there. I know what the drivers are thinking. I know what's going through their heads. I know when they run side by side, 3 wide like they do here today, I know that it can cause problems. And so knowing all that, I sit here with a great deal of anticipation waiting for something to happen. And when you do that, you get a little hyper.
Well, you're going to double your money here. Darrell, are you glad you're not in this race as you look forward to tomorrow on that 5? I know you used to love to run this race. This was one of your favorites.
I love this race. I love this track. But, yes, I'm glad I'm not out there. I'm glad I'm up here with you, Ken. I'd rather be up here with a trained professional like you than out there on the racetrack taking my chances.
Where's Randy?
Well, about the middle of pit road, just to update, a lot of cars came in under that caution. Dennis Setzer, he was looking for flat spots on his tires. He had to lock them up from that wreck up there in 3 and 4. As well, besides Dennis Setzer, Johnny Benson Jr., he changed rights. Setzer changed rights. David Green changed rights. The 2-car of Ricky Craven also changed right side tires. So wholesale pit stops down here. Dick Berggren?
David,
Well, we had some pit stops up at the front of the pack, too. The 60, Mark Martin, came in. He changed 2 tires. He had made some of his fastest laps just before that round of pit stops. The 87 car, Nemechek, came in, too. But the 60, Mark Martin, beat him out of the pits.
So there's an update as to what's happened on pit road, and we now have Elton Sawyer leading. Ford Motor Credit Company announcing this week it will sponsor Elton's car for the 1995 season, that T-Bird. Congratulations to Elton Sawyer. Hope he has a great year. More from Charlotte after this.
Something happened. Somebody slid up in front of me. Wasn't nothing I could do. I hit Dirk Stevens right in the door, and he's okay. You know, I got to thank Hank Parker for giving me this opportunity, and the Delco board for putting their sponsorship on this race car and giving us a chance. We had a good race car today. I really thought we could finish good.
You can tell he's okay. He got all his sponsors in.
Yeah, old Hank Parker, he's a jewel. That's the guy I sold all my Busch stuff to, and they've had a lot of problems. But Jake's over there working on the car, and David, I think David's going to make a good driver.
29, guy that won it here in May. Parsons moving along up there. We were watching the Teddy Bear car. It was 3rd. It didn't fit there. It shot right to the rear, went back to about 10th. Steady Teddy. Kevin LePage, at least he got up in the top 3 from him, and he almost didn't make the show. He lost a car. He crashed one out of here back a couple of days.
Well, it could happen to anybody at this moment. You know, these cars are just running really fast, and it's a small racetrack when you start talking about running 180 mile an hour.
Second place battle beginning to develop here. See the 20? That's Jimmy Hensley in the Randy LaJoie car. Got a snoot full of Mark Martin down to the bottom. Martin in the 60, charging back up to second spot, and as you look out back, here comes McLaughlin with him in the red and yellow number 34.
Jimmy Hensley will give that 20 car a good ride. That's a fast car, and it's been really good on super speedways. I don't think they may have gotten tires on their stop, but I don't think they did.
LaJoie has won a race in that 20 car this year, and just to update you, he is okay, but he suffered a mild concussion in that crash and decided that he better let him wait a few days before he got back in to compete. So Jimmy Hensley has stepped into that car, giving him a good ride at the present time.
We don't have quite the traffic jam that we had here when we at the start of the race, but still we've got quite a few cars running side by side, and that makes for some exciting racing.
You see the 32, Jarrett trying to go under McLaughlin. That's for 4th. Elton Sawyer stays well in front.